to the side and create the same effect. So I'll go 2 inches like I did, and just over at the side. So this is the side front now. Now for the center front, like this, because I said I do not want it to be too complicated, I'll just forget about this center style line, and so I'll just forget about this. But assuming I was doing this, remember, this is just one part of the corset. We need the same part for the right hand side, so I'll do the same thing for this side. So we'll have lines here, bones here, and bones here, as well as the side seam, and then as well as the middle. So but I don't want to complicate this so much, so I'll forget about this line and just do the side style line at the side. So what we'll just basically do at this point is to cut this off. But before I cut off, I'm going to label it. This is the side front 1, and let's call this side front 1, and let's call this side front 2. If we're cutting this, we'll label this center front 1 and center front 2, so that you don't miss the pattern, because they are so much and so tiny and so similar. So I'll just cut through it now. So this is side front 2, side front 1. This is the cup 2, cup 1, and this is center front. So I'll just pin them together while I cut the back now. So to the back is basically easy. All the lines that you cut, remember this zip point that we dip in, remember to take it out. Take out your darts. So this can be tricky, so you have to make sure you label. So this is the center back, this is the center back, and this is the side back. Make sure you label always, because the pieces are so almost similar from the bottom to the down. And at the bottom you can just put an arrow that shows this is the bottom. I will show you this is the bottom while cutting. Now the same style line we put at the side back, we're going to do the same. So remember, we'll do 2 inches and this, so we'll do the same style line. So I'll just cut through. So before I do that, I'll cut this side back 2 and side back 1. Then I can cut off. So while placing this on your fabric, remember you're cutting 2 each. So this is a transparent corset, so we do not need a lining. But if we needed a lining, and if it was a full corset, we would have used the interfacing, and that's that. So as subsequent videos will show you other types of corsets, so you can sign up to get the full grasp of those type of corsets. But meanwhile, we're going to put this to our fabrics now, to the fabric rather. And you can use, for the transparent corset, you can either use organza, you can use a tulle, or you can use lycra, but you can use lace generally, anything fine and transparent. And we're going to show you how we put the bones, the casing, and apply the cups, and how to reinforce the lines. So we're going to place on our fabric. When placing on our fabric, every part of the back and the front while cutting, we're going to leave an allowance of ½ inch. The only part we leave 1 inch is the zip allowance, because if we're putting a zip, and of course the side seam. Remember when we were drafting this pattern, we didn't leave any allowance. So we'll take it to the table now, draft out, cut out the fabric with these patterns. So this is how it looks after placing on the fabric and cutting. So basically you can see this is the side front too, and so we'll be joining these lines and joining these lines, joining the cup, and when we are done, we'll iron those seams out, and I'll be showing you how to place the bone casing. Now you can decide to use the spiral bone, and you can decide to use the Ridgeline bone, you can decide to use the plastic bone, but out of all of them, the spiral bone is the most durable and the most flexible. The spiral bone will last a lifetime on the dress, and as well it's flexible because it can twist and it won't hurt the clients on the body. So we can decide to use the spiral bone, and if we're using the spiral bone, we have to form a casing for it, because this is a see-through corset. If it wasn't a see-through, we wouldn't have to do that, but since it's a see-through corset, we would have to form a casing for it. And if we're also using the Ridgeline bone, now the Ridgeline bone I have is white, and it may be showing out of this fabric. So when we go over and sew this, and when we come back, we'll be deciding which options we are going to go for. Now there are several ways to bone, and there are several ways to case, and there are several ways to make your casing look standard and all of that. So we'll be talking more of this in our subsequent classes. So see you when we're done joining these lines. So I had to change the fabric. I noticed some holes on the fabric, so I had to change the fabric. So I'm using this gold lace now, and like I said earlier, you have to cut a lining. So I'm using a tool. I use the non-stretch part of the tool. So I cut 2 pieces of each. So this is the center front, as you can see. This is the side front one, and this is the side front two. So I did basically the same thing for the back as well. So this is going to be serving as a lining. So what I'll basically do is to, for instance, for the side front two, what I will do is to take the net, the tool, and take the lace, and I'll pin and match round sides and top, so it doesn't shift when I start joining the princess darts. So it's going to give, and I'm doing this so that it gives a little weight to my fabric. So I'll take to the machine now, and I'll come back and show you how it looks. So after joining, this is how it will come out. Now this is how it looks from the back. I already pressed iron these seams, And what I'll do after this point is I'll top stitch, and after top stitching I'll then trim off these allowances almost towards the end, and I can then start creating my channels. Now what I will do, I want this corset to really be stiff and cinching to the body, so I will use the wriggling bone as well as the bone, the plastic bone. So I'll use the wriggling bone to create a casing. So I'll have to cut like strips of satin or bias tape to case the wriggling bone, and after doing that I'll then start putting in the plastic bone, or I can decide to use the spiral metal. Now the spiral metal, like I said, is the best. It's more durable and it can last for a lifetime on a dress, and it's softer to the skin unlike the plastic bone, although the plastic bone is far cheaper. So whichever you use, your corset will still come out looking very nice. So but before we go on to the sewing machine to do those channels and casing and all of that, I will now, this is my cup. Remember the cup which we drafted initially, this is a cup, and I'll be showing you how we already sewed this together, remember. Now first of all, what I did was I cut out lace. Yeah, I just want to use something different from the main bodies. Now we cut out the lace, and with that lace I cut a lining for it. Now after doing that, I then cut another lining which will cover this breast cup. So I'm using a size 40 breast cup, already made breast cup. Yes, so I cut this a little bit bigger than the lace measurement, so I added about 1/4 inch round of it. Yes, so that's what I did. So first of all, what I'll be doing now is I'll be notching and trimming these joints. Just notch and trim. You can decide to top sew so it relaxes. If you really want a cup that is very pronounced, you want a cup very pronounced, you can use your wriggling bone and sew across. If there was a joining here, you will still use the wriggling bone to sew across before putting in the cup. So now what we'll do is, remember to mark the top parts and the bottom part of this cup so you don't mess it up. So I use the chalk to mark that so it indicates for me that it's the top. So I want to try and get the underbust measurement, so I'll just join these two lines together and notch this. So I'll know this is my underbust measurement. So I'll do this for all three. I'll also do the same for the cup. For having done this for 3 of them, first of all, bring this together. The parts I notched, making sure they mix. So I'll just pin as you can see, the cup is a little bit bigger than the bust, so I'll trim a bit. I'm going to be pinning. This is the part I'm going to sew. I'll just pin like I'm dressing the cup. You can also decide not to put this cup. You can just join your fabric and use the ridging bone, like I said, across, and use some trimmings to cover the nipple part so the nipple doesn't show. It depends on how revealing the client wants it to be. And if the person, whoever you're making the corset for, is someone that likes the cleavage to show, then you can also do a push-up effect. Maybe subsequently in other corset classes I'll show you how to do the push-up effects. So I'll just, that's it after dressing it. So you can see I have this part on top, so I'll just pin like this now. Then I look from inside and then from the outside. I'll just trim these parts. They are not needed because it's in essence. So that's it basically. It's pretty easy. So then I'll take the lining and match up again with, this time around, turning right sides together. So I'll make sure it meets again. So what I'll come and do here is I'll just pin before taking to the machine. I'm going to, as you can see, it's excess a bit from the main fabric. So whatever excess I have, I'll trim out after sewing. It's preferable you have an excess than a shortage. So I'll just pin. So I'm going to be sewing like this. So I'm doing this because I want to turn my lace with the lining from the top. So I'll end this at this part. I'll take this off now. I'll end it at this part. So I'm going to sew this. So we are not sewing your cup, you are sewing the lining with the lace, and you can turn over, assuming you have sewn now. You can turn over like this. I'm just assuming you have sewn this. You can then turn it over and sew here. You can then top stitch here. Now if this inside part is in excess, you can trim off before top stitching. But however, I just want to show you, when I get to the sewing machine, you understand what I mean. So what you just simply do is you can now First of all, we're going to be sewing a channel for our under wire. Now the under wire will help hold this under bust area firm. So we're going to be using the under wire. I'll show you in a short while. So after sewing and matching these round parts together, I'll use a casing or a strip of bias or something and sew, turn, and that's where I'm going to insert my under wire before I put it here, making sure the notch meets with this joint line, and then sew the bust area. So we'll move over to the sewing machine, and then you'll see how the process will go through. So imagine how we're done with these two cuts, and by the time we're done, pretty much our corset is going to stand out. So now we're moving on to casing the channels and putting our bones. So these are the boning options we have. So first thing I'll be doing is, this is ridgeline bone. I'll be using my bias tape, or you can use a silk fabric and fold in bias form, but I'll be putting this ridgeline bone into the bias. So I'll be using the matching color. I'll be using gold. I'm just showing this to you as a sample, such that when I put it in this form, I'll fold, match on top of it, making sure I catch the bias, the ridgeline bone, and bias underneath. I'll sew to the length I will require for each seams that I will be casing. Then after sewing on top, I'm going to put the other parts on top of it and also match. And at this point, I can then match on top of the joinings, each princess joining. After doing this, I can then decide to use either the plastic boning or the spiral bone to put inside the channel of the ridgeline bone. This is because we want to have a very firm hold and want the corset to really come out looking structured. So like I said, this is more flexible and more durable to use, the spiral bone, but you can also use the plastic bone. So whichever, this ridgeline bone will serve as a channel for you to put either of these. And then the under wire for under the bust, this will hold the cup firm together. So usually it comes in pair like this, so you put one for each of the bust. So now let's move over to the sewing machine. together, and this is how it is from the back, and this is how it looks from the front. Now, as I was sewing the bone casing, I sewed the left and the right hand side, and thereby creating a space at the middle. So remember to sew very close to the end so your bone will pass through easily. Now, like I said initially, I can decide to use either this spiral steel or steel spiral or the plastic bone. Now, for this tutorial, what I'm going to be doing, if you notice, this is the length I have in the spiral steel, and if you notice from this length of the middle part of my bodice, it's not enough to get to the end, and for this shorter part it's too short. Although if you have a plier or something, you can cut. Yes, you can cut, but I wouldn't want to waste this. So what I will do is I will use this flexible bone, flexible spiral steel. I'll use it at the side of the waist, and then I'll cut. So I'll be needing 2 for both sides, and then I will use this plastic bone for the other parts. So what I'll basically do for the plastic bone is I'll measure what I need, and that's the length. I'll just make it rounded a bit by trimming. I don't want the ends too sharp, so I want to make it round. So you can see it's rounded a bit, and then I'll just pass it under each of the channels. So push it in. Any part that is proving stubborn is because maybe I sew too close inside, so I may just use a needle to take out that thread so that it can pass through. So having pushed through, what you do basically, because your machine can't go underneath, so your machine can't go on top when you're finally piping the top of this, you just draw the bone a little bit out